For the small price of $500,000, you can get an AI-generated government report too. Well, obviously, we're going to need to talk about what's going on with Deloitte in Australia. If you're Australian, I gotta know what you think. I have to. And if it seems like I'm giddy, it's because I am. Turns out you can automate consulting. You just pull out all accountability, but they've been doing that for years. Big consulting is finally getting audited by common sense. So what happened? Deloitte Australia has this very embarrassing public scrutiny situation on their hands. They had to issue a partial, because God forbid they, admit any wrongdoing, refund for their work, which was contracted at 440,000 Australian dollars for the Department of Employment and Workforce. The goal of this report was to provide expert legal and policy analysis related to Australia's welfare compliance and penalty system. Basically, they wanted to know, were these penalties fair from a legal and expert analysis standpoint, or should they work on redesigning the penalty system for non-compliant welfare membership? And the reason this is important about what the report was about, because they were quite literally tasked with drafting something around legal scholarship. I challenge you to tell me something that's more academically based. We're not talking about culture or anything that might be more of a soft skill. We're talking about a legal analysis here. The report was published in July 2025. How it got published is beyond me, but that's when all of these cracks started to form in the ivory tower. Once the report was published, they found all of these fabricated academic citations, completely made up, non-existent references and footnotes. They even went so far to falsely quote a federal court. Yeah, like nobody would find that out. They cited academic sources that don't even exist by real academic scholars in Australia. Can you imagine being Professor Lisa Burton Crawford and seeing quotes of work that you never wrote? They also quoted, I can't even say it with a straight face, Justice Davies on a federal court in reference to a motto versus the Commonwealth that doesn't even exist in the reference judgment. Nothing like the taxpayers paying for fake legal analysis from Azure's OpenAI. Finally, after all of this public pressure, these scholars coming out and being like, yeah, so I didn't write that book. Deloitte was like, okay, well, yeah, some of it was made by AI. However, we're only going to give you a partial refund because we feel like the key finding still stands, even though we had over 20 errors and fabricated citations. No problem. Is this embarrassing? Yes. Is it funny? Oh yeah. But it's actually super concerning. These are public policy decisions. If this report made it all the way to getting published, imagine the amount of policy decisions that could have been made on completely false information. That's terrifying. Governments around the world are already under this pressure to modernize, but responsibly. When these types of crazy, high-profile AI cases are in the marketplace, it feeds this already skeptical public. It becomes so much harder for well-intentioned businesses and public service to leverage the use of AI safely and responsibly because these big players are so reckless with it. I mean, the Australian people deserve better. More importantly, they deserve answers. Where was the quality check? Where was the checks and balances? You're telling me that you delivered this to the Australian government? You didn't catch any of this? That is not only negligent, but it is lazy. And once again, there's not an ounce of accountability taken. Honestly, this is the core of my platform. I am tired of seeing these big consultancies or big software vendors take advantage of not only businesses, but the public sector in general. They rely on you for this expertise and you treat them like trash. And then everyone's over here like, why is public trust broken? Well, it's not a mystery, Susan. It's because you literally took advantage of your taxpayer dollars and gave it to someone who doesn't give a shit, obviously, about your public policy. I propose that in 2026, we forget the AI trend, watch that bubble burst, and create a trend around accountability. If I pay you to do something, you better do it, and you better do it well. As always, it doesn't matter what I think, right? It matters what's best for your business, or in this case, what's best for your people. Definitely curious to hear what you think on the matter, and we can start to have this dialogue around chipping away, again, at this completely corrupt industry.